This year's our 50th year. We purchased this property 50 years ago on the 3rd of August with my mother, and there was a small vineyard here, but then he continued to buy properties and neighbours. We have about 550 acres of vineyards and 200 acres of vacant land for these guys to grow into and plant more vineyards as they evolve and we evolve. And my father was always interested in agriculture, so he's terribly interested in doing a science. So they just commenced the Roseworthy winemaking course after the Second World War. But in the early days at Roseworthy, they only educated 6 students every 2 years because that's all the glassware they had, the scientific apparatus. He predated the Australian Wine Research Institute by 8 years, so there was no higher scientific body. 17th enologist in Australia. He's the first chemist to come to Clare, and they called him the young chemist as a winemaker. He brought the first pH meter to Clare. He loved it. He thought Clare was the centre of the world. We're absolutely devoted and passionate about Riesling. We're the largest grape growers of Riesling in Clare, and Clare's the biggest Riesling area in Australia. We grow it on different soil types, and we get the flavours from different soils, whether it be limestone or slate or rock, and then we make wine, and then we can blend all these parcels together to make a more complex wine. Than you taste a glass of Clare wine and you say, where is this from? Where is this Riesling from in the world? We've got a Lodge Hill Riesling. It's a single vineyard wine grown on slate.
Tell us the Armagh story.
It's very special to us. It was planted in 1968, which was a drought year. So as children, the vineyard was 3 kilometres from home, and watered them out of 44-gallon drums, the young vines that were dying. And we did that before school and after school, and then Dad went to work at Taylor's, and then we do it on weekends. And so we hand watered these vines to prevent them dying, and they came through to make wonderful wine. But it's very emotional attachment to everybody in the family, all the children. Well, my father was a keen cricketer and represented Roseworthy College in the first 11 in 1947, and we moved to Coonawarra and purchased a vacant property in Coonawarra 12 years ago and planted a vineyard, and we stumbled across a disused cricket ground in the middle of that vineyard, so we kept that the cricket pitch in place and planted the vineyard around it, and we have a picnic on that cricket pitch every year and celebrate, and then that's led to our cricket theme wines. The Florita vineyard is a Riesling vineyard, so it's 100% Riesling vineyard. There's 80 acres of Riesling, which is not a fashionable variety, but it's a wonderful glass of wine. And in 1986, the Leo Buring company who'd planted it, they decided to sell it. I can imagine how my father felt, you know, when he introduced me to his contemporaries to say that I was coming into the wine business, and I was very excited about that. I didn't realise how proud it would have made him until I have that situation happening to me today, introducing my children to say they're going to take over, and it's a tremendous internal pride that you just couldn't get that experience any other way, I don't think, in life. You know, it's just a wonderful, wonderful pride you have. The commitment of the people in the AFFW, you know, 1,200 years, and the wine industry is, you have to be committed, so I think that's very important that we show this commitment, and we all are committed. We're long-term committed to it. I'm only a custodian for the business on the time through, and these children are only custodians as the business moves forward. So it's important to let people know this historic and this connection we have with the soil and our vineyards, which is not always a story that's told about Australia, but it is a story that is the heart of what we're about, is our connection with and the people in the community and our businesses and the culture, and that creates a culture.